It's 4 minutes the hour of 7 o'clock in Trinidad and Tobago, and our next conversation is focusing on what for many is long awaited, the 2025 First Citizens National Poetry Slam. Boca Slit Fest audition dates, they have been announced, which means the competition is coming soon. And joining us in studio is Marielle Forbes, Youth and Hospitality Manager of Boca Slit Fest. Good morning, Marielle. Welcome.
Good morning, Natasha. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you with us on the show. Thank you for waking up so early.
Anytime for TTT and in our morning show.
So let's get straight into the conversation. I mean, many of us, we know we love the championship, but there are some people who will not be able to perhaps grasp or are aware of the significance of it. So can you share with us what that is?
Well, the Slam has become like the premier, one of the premier and one of the biggest events at the Boca Slit Festival every year. It closes the festival and it's notorious for bringing youths from across Trinidad and Tobago to, you know, spar with each other, because typically, you know, people usually, those who don't participate usually have their favorites, and those who do participate or who are participating, you know, there's a healthy kind of sparring that happens across the championship. So it's a pretty exciting place to be, from auditions to Grand Slam.
And, you know, okay, so as you mentioned, I want to go straight into the auditions. It's quite interesting because auditions are starting on the 15th of February, right after Valentine's Day.
Yes, yes.
And, of course, going straight up until. So what is the significance of choosing it within the season, if there is any significance at all?
Partly for the energy and the vibe.
Of course.
But also, too, seriously, we would like to give the poets time to, you know, create their pieces for auditions if they have to, or refine their pieces for auditions. So usually what we do, we go back from the date, the final date of the festival, which would be Sunday, the 4th of May, and we plan backwards.
All right, makes sense. Now let's talk about the auditions that happened last year, because last year, if I'm not mistaken, there were over 80 people who auditioned, and one of the youngest made it to the semi-finals. What was that audition process like last year, and what are you looking forward to for this year?
So I'm glad you mentioned that. We had our very first participant under 12, Marcus Wiley from Tobago, and he did beat out quite a few others in the auditions to make it to the semi-finals, yes. And this year we have added an additional auditions location. So outside of Port of Spain and South, we'll also be at East Yard and Tobago. So we have Marabella, Port of Spain, Tobago, and Arima.
Wonderful. So there's no excuse if anybody feels like they can't make it. You have somewhere to go.
None at all.
No, wonderful. Which means that we're probably going to have a lot more people entering this year as well.
That's what we're hoping, and that's one of the reasons why we added the additional location, because we know that we did have a request, so to speak, for more audition locations. So, you know, we're giving the people what they want.
Of course. And speaking of what people want, one of the things that everybody looks forward to is what the theme is. Can you share with us what the theme is this year?
Yes. Now, the theme this year, which will be announced later today as well on our socials, is Bring It Home. And every year we try to, even though the theme of the Boca Slit Fest has not been announced as yet, it usually is very similar or ties in some way to the theme of the festival.
Wonderful. So something to look forward to. I know some people may furiously be like, all right, start to pen, start to meditate and get into that space. One of the things, of course, that many also look forward to with the championship are the prizes. Always quite lauded, of course. The purse totals, I think, is it 80,000?
It's 80,000 TT dollars, yes.
And the first prize is
$50,000.
There we go. So
yeah, Natasha. I mean, you could try.
I mean, you never know. You never know what could happen in Trinidad and Tobago. You never know. But can you break down the figures for us in a little bit more detail?
So the Grand Slam champion will take home 50,000 TT dollars cash. Second place will take home 20,000 TT, and third place 10,000 TT dollars.
Now, that's obviously quite a lot, to say the least, and a great incentive. What about a sponsorship on board for Boca Slit Fest?
Well, the sponsor of the championship, First Citizens, aside from, as we're speaking about the cash prize, aside from generously giving these cash prizes to the winners, also incorporate some level of financial management and education, so that, you know, whoever is the lucky winner, Grand Slam winner, or winners, they also have an idea of how they can, use their money wisely.
Okay, so for those who are interested in auditioning, and you would have shared with us the locations, but can you give us some more details how we can sign up?
So you can visit our social media or our website, bocuslitfest.com, Bocus Litfest on Instagram, or National Slam TT on Instagram, and the links will be available to sign up to register. You register online. Registration is absolutely free. It costs nothing whatsoever. And like I said, we have an additional auditions location. So we're really hoping to tip over 100 participants for the auditions this year.
We definitely don't envy those judges, boy.
Yeah.
That's going to be a
I
challenge.
mean,
So,
I'm glad I'm not a judge.
Is there a closing dates for auditions? Applications, rather?
The close-off would be a day before each of the audition dates. So the first audition date is Saturday, 15th February. So the close-off date for that would be the 14th, followed by the 15th for the audition date that's on the 16th, and so on.
Okay. Is it that you need to go to the space that is closest to your home where you live, or can you go anywhere on the island?
You can go anywhere you want. You could make a little holiday out of it. If you live in Arima and you want to go to Tobago, you could go to Tobago for the weekend. You could go up on Friday and you could come back down on Sunday. You could do whatever you want, as long as you audition.
As long as you audition. That's the most important thing. Make sure that you go out and audition. Of course, I mean, a first prize of $50,000 is definitely a great incentive, to say the least. But, I mean, giving the space for people to actually be able to express themselves. And have their voices heard. And speaking about that, of course, with the fact that you have been able to open up to more people means that we're probably going to have some first-timers joining or trying their hand or their mouth, that's what I say. Do you have any advice for them who are planning to throw their hat into the ring?
Well, if you don't throw your hat, you don't have a chance. So that would be my advice. We're really hoping that we do get more first-timers this year because, look, we had Shakira Burton, our reigning champion. That was her first time winning and her second time entering the Slam. She hadn't entered for a number of years, and she auditioned at the South location in 2024, and she took home the Grand Slam title. So if you don't enter, you don't have a chance. You never know.
It's true. If you don't answer, you'll never know, and anything is possible. Marielle, any closing comments for Trinidad and Tobago, those who are watching right now? Oh, what about people who want to enter, like, but don't live here? They want to fly in and enter.
The championship is specifically for Trinidad and Tobago residents. Yes.
There we go. Definitely a disclaimer that I think is needed for those who are watching and saying, well, I could go and try my hand and see. No, you need to be from Trinidad and Tobago, but we'll see what may happen in the future, right? Marielle, any closing comments before we wrap our conversation?
Just that, the championship is a really important event that takes place across a few months and, of course, closes the Bocus Lit Fest every year. And it's a very important championship for young people to be able to express themselves, to make their voices heard. So this is a really good opportunity for young people, and maybe not so young people, to bring anything they want to get off their chest to the foreground.
Marielle, you just said young people and then the not so young people. Is there an age limit?
There's no age limit.
Okay,
that's why I said not so young people.
There we go. Yeah. I thought it was be like, no. Anyway, Marielle, thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's been an absolute pleasure. All the best to you and your team.
Thank you very much, Natasha.
It's a pleasure. Marielle Forbes, Youth and Hospitality Manager at Bocus Lit Fest, here with us this morning speaking about the First Citizens National Poetry Slam. Audition dates have been announced starting from the 15th of February. And for more information, you can go on to www.bocuslitfest.com/poetry-slam. And as Marielle said, you just have to enter. You don't know if you don't try. So make sure that you try and stay tuned because the Now Morning Show is going to be back in a few moments.